Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, adventurers and trivia enthusiasts. I'm Journey Joe Mitchell, and welcome to another exciting edition of 5 Daily Trivia Questions. Today, we're setting sail on a journey of discovery, exploring the lives and achievements of some of the world's most famous explorers. From the ancient voyages of the Polynesians to the space missions of the modern era, these intrepid men and women have pushed the boundaries of human knowledge and expanded our understanding of the world and our place in it. So let's pack our bags and test our knowledge of these legendary explorers. Question 1. Which Italian explorer sailing under the Spanish flag is credited with leading the first European expedition to reach the Americas in 1492? Question 2. What is the name of the Portuguese explorer who became the first person to circumnavigate the globe, completing his journey in 1522? Question 3. Which Norwegian explorer, known for his daring polar expeditions, became the first person to reach the South Pole in 1911? Question 4. What is the name of the NASA mission that landed the first humans on the moon in 1969, with astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin? Question 5. Which British explorer, known for his voyages to the Pacific Ocean in the 18th century, was killed in Hawaii in 1779 after a confrontation with native Hawaiians? Take a moment to ponder these questions, and I'll be back with the answers and some fascinating facts about these legendary explorers. Welcome back, fellow adventurers. Let's uncover the answers to our questions and learn some intriguing trivia about these famous explorers and their incredible journeys. Question 1 asked, which Italian explorer sailing under the Spanish flag is credited with leading the first European expedition to reach the Americas in 1492? Answer, Christopher Columbus. Fascinating fact. Christopher Columbus, born in Genoa, Italy in 1451, was a skilled navigator and explorer who convinced the Spanish monarchs Isabella I and Ferdinand II to sponsor his voyage across the Atlantic in search of a new route to Asia. On October 12, 1492, Columbus and his crew landed on an island in the Bahamas, which he named San Salvador, believing he had reached the East Indies. Columbus would make 3 more voyages to the Americas, exploring the Caribbean, Central America, and the northern coast of South America, and establishing Spanish colonies in the New World. Although Columbus was not the first European to reach the Americas, the Vikings had settled in Newfoundland centuries earlier. His voyages marked the beginning of the European colonization of the Americas and had a profound impact on world history, for better and for worse. Question 2 asked, what is the name of the Portuguese explorer who became the first person to circumnavigate the globe, completing his journey in 1522? Answer, Ferdinand Magellan. Fascinating fact. Ferdinand Magellan, born in Portugal in 1480, was a skilled navigator and explorer who led the first expedition to sail around the world, proving that the Earth was round and that the Americas were a separate continent from Asia. Magellan set out from Spain in 1519 with a fleet of 5 ships and a crew of over 200 men, seeking a western route to the Spice Islands, modern-day Indonesia. After crossing the Atlantic and discovering the strait that now bears his name, Magellan entered the Pacific Ocean and sailed westward for months, facing starvation, disease, and mutiny along the way. Magellan himself was killed in a battle with native Filipinos in 1521, but one of his ships, the Victoria, completed the circumnavigation and returned to Spain in 1522 with just 18 survivors. Magellan's expedition proved that the world was much larger than previously thought and opened up new trade routes and opportunities for European expansion. Question 3 asked, which Norwegian explorer, known for his daring polar expeditions, became the first person to reach the South Pole in 1911? Answer, Roald Amundsen. Fascinating fact. Roald Amundsen, born in Norway in 1872, was a skilled skier, dog sled driver, and polar explorer who became the first person to reach both the North and South Poles. In 1911, Amundsen and his team of 4 men and 52 sled dogs set out from their base camp in Antarctica, using a route that had been carefully planned and provisioned. After a grueling 2-month journey across the icy continent, Amundsen and his team reached the South Pole on December 14, 1911. planting the Norwegian flag and claiming the surrounding area for Norway. Amundsen's success was a bitter defeat for British explorer Robert Falcon Scott, who had been racing to reach the pole and arrived there a month later, only to find Amundsen's flag already in place. Amundsen's achievement cemented his reputation as one of the greatest polar explorers of all time and inspired generations of adventurers to follow in his footsteps. Question 4 asked, what is the name of the NASA mission that landed the first humans on the moon in 1969 with astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin? Answer, Apollo 11. Fascinating fact, Apollo 11 was the culmination of the American space program's efforts to land humans on the moon, a goal set by President John F. Kennedy in 1961. On July 16, 1969, astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins blasted off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, aboard a Saturn V rocket, bound for the moon. After orbiting the moon and separating from the command module, piloted by Collins, Armstrong and Aldrin descended to the lunar surface in the lunar module Eagle, touching down in the Sea of Tranquility on July 20th. As Armstrong stepped off the ladder and onto the moon's surface, he uttered the famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Armstrong and Aldrin spent over 2 hours on the moon, collecting samples, taking photographs, and conducting scientific experiments before returning to the command module and beginning the journey back to Earth. Apollo 11's success was a triumph of human ingenuity and a defining moment in the history of space exploration. Which British explorer, known for his voyages to the Pacific Ocean in the 18th century, was killed in Hawaii in 1779 after a confrontation with native Hawaiians? Answer, Captain James Cook. Fascinating fact, Captain James Cook, born in England in 1728, was a skilled navigator and explorer who led 3 voyages to the Pacific Ocean, charting much of the region and making contact with many indigenous peoples. Cook's first voyage, from 1768 to 1771, took him to Tahiti, New Zealand, and Australia, where he mapped the eastern coast and claimed it for Britain. His second voyage, from 1772 to 1775, pushed further south in search of the hypothetical continent of Antarctica. And his third voyage, from 1776 to 1779, explored the Pacific Northwest and the Bering Strait. It was on this third voyage that Cook met his tragic end in Hawaii, where he was killed in a confrontation with native Hawaiians at Kealakekua Bay on February 14, 1779. Cook's death was a shock to the European world, but his legacy as one of the greatest explorers of the Age of Discovery lives on, with numerous places and landmarks named in his honor. Thank you for joining me. I'm Journey Joe Mitchell on this thrilling journey through the lives of famous explorers.